Well, Jay, hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there.
We're going to do a special edition of Ink and Paint where we're going to review a new Disney Plus show. But, Jay, let's be honest, we could use some help. I really wish that from all of those years and years of recording would come back and guest with us. I really wish he was here, don't you?
I do.
So we just need him. We need him, and there's times in need, and we are two podcast hosts in a time of need. Am I milking this too much?
A little bit, but
a little bit. It's about time. It's about time right now.
There was a weird segue there. Welcome everybody to Ink and Paint. I am Steve.
I'm Jay.
And with us is special guest host Steve O. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Been a while.
It has been.
Yeah.
Jay, you look amazing, by the way. FYI, it's been a hot minute since I've seen you, but
thank you.
I thought you were joking because we're not on a video, but I forgot that Jay does look like a Cliff Notes version of the guy he used to be. It's incredible.
Thank you.
So, all right, here we go with Ink and Paint, the special edition Obi-Wan Kenobi review show. All right, let's get right into it. Guys, what did you think of this 6-episode miniseries that I can't tell, is it getting a sequel or not?
So from what I've heard, that the fans are really pushing for this. It's more of a Kathleen Kennedy's like, well, it's up to the fans. The latest, because I read a comic book.com, and the latest thing that she had said about it is it's up to the fans at this point, which I'm leaving it up for interpretation that, if it's in the future, they're going to go ahead and do it. But not to be crass, but what the hell does that mean?
I mean,
exactly.
Leaving it up to the fans? What does that mean? Is she literally saying if the numbers are good or if the reviews are good? Is that what that means?
That's kind of how I'm reading into it.
You know what it means, Steve, is that Kathleen Kennedy has become this type of producer that doesn't have any guts anymore.
Yeah,
that she makes these decisions now based on what the majority of the fans think they want.
Yeah, and let's be honest, I don't think that you should ever just cater to the fans, because if you do that, you're just...
Unless you're Zack Snyder, then you do whatever.
That is true. Zack Snyder kind of operates on his own world. But, oh my God, I forgot about him. So let's just go right into this. This is 6 episodes on Disney Plus. It is available now. The finale was aired, 2 days ago? And I just... And I don't really know my opinion. I have read hyperbole opinions on both sides. So, Steve-O, you're the new guy to the show. Why don't you go right into it and tell us what you thought, what your broad strokes before we really get into the details? Because I'm actually really curious what you thought. I have no idea where your head is at with this.
Yeah, it's been a while since we talked, and we don't know, it's been over a year or so, and we don't know each other's taste, and taste evolve and such. And I haven't been I'm more of a Star Trek person, as you know, than a Star Wars person. But I was really looking forward to Obi-Wan because you and I share this love for Ewan. And going into last episode, I was very much 40-60 on the negative side. There's just some stuff that just didn't make sense. There's stuff that just was dumb. But this episode put me over to the 40-60 side of it being good. So 60 and 40% negative. My overall thought is some people think, this movie should be a series. This series should have been a movie.
Yes. Well said. That's exactly one of the reviews that I saw, that this could have been a tight 2-hour movie.
I was just going to say, I totally agree with that, because I actually had a question for you guys. And this is a little bit off topic, but not really. Out of the series that have come out for Star Wars on Disney Plus, I would say Obi-Wan would have to almost be a movie out of these 6 episodes or these 6 parts. Where I would think like Mandalorian and stuff, I can't see that as a movie. So that I think would be a better, thing for Disney Plus to put out as a series. I mean, do you guys agree with that?
Well, yeah, I definitely agree that it could have worked. Let me ask you then, by that review, would that mean that Book of Boba Fett could have also been a 2-hour movie?
Ooh.
That should have been just a one-shot somewhere. Like a comic book or something. That should have never happened.
You were not a fan, Steve, of
it's by far the worst. The only good episodes were with The Mandalorian and Luke and Ahsoka.
Yeah. I think we agree with that. I had fun watching the show because I love watching something new. And I enjoyed watching this, but I agree with both of your guys' sort of opinions is, first of all, it would have made a better film, a 2-hour movie, instead of this 6-hour, or 4.5-hour run that it didn't need to be that long. And yeah, you're right. Like The Mandalorian, you cannot put that in a 2-hour movie. There's too many moving pieces.
The thing with The Mandalorian, Steve, is we don't know what happens to that character. We know you can't kill Obi-Wan. We know you can't kill Darth Vader.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know the Emperor will live. Like, we know all this stuff. So for a series, you don't really know what's going to happen to those characters. But when you do, it becomes like, okay, how do they survive this? And you don't need 6 stories, 30 to 40-minute episodes to tell that story.
Yeah, agreed completely.
Yep, totally agree. Real quick, because I was going over the Rotten Tomatoes for this, and not that because we're not really spending a whole lot of time on each part per se. We're going to kind of do this as a whole, but kind of give you an idea where everything is. Part 1 had 86%, part 2 89%, part 3 86%, drops down. Part 4, 62. Then it jumps back up to 83 with the last one as an 86. So the total overall score was a 72.
Okay. And then IMDb, the overall score was a 7.2. And the episode ratings are 7.5, 7.3, 7.6, 8.0. And then the finale episode had an 8.6. So I think Steve, you're tracking exactly what the reviews are saying by the majority of people is maybe it was kind of meh the whole time. And then that finale episode, which was great, does bring you back a little bit. Because it was the highest rated.
I think there's this the writing was so uneven. I mean, are we digging in now? Are we going into details? Steve, do you want Steve, you haven't said what you thought yet.
Oh, I echoed your guys' thoughts. I thought it was right in the middle. I mean, I was 50-50, honestly, until that last fight scene and the way that the battle ended between those two, because I thought it was really, really cool. I loved the sound of Hayden Christensen's voice mixed with the Vader voice.
Yes.
That alone, while he was mad, and then that really famous quote now at the end of the episode that has me kind of smitten with the whole thing, even though there were sections that I thought were really boring and stupid. But when he says, I killed, you didn't kill him, I killed him. And then, I killed Anakin. And then he says, then my friend truly is gone. That acting in that moment was so good by both of them together. It actually felt like they were longtime friends, which they are. They do keep in touch, and they've been friendly for the past 20 years. The way that those lines were delivered, there was sincerity. I was like, this is what I wanted the whole time.
Yes.
I wanted more of this. I didn't realize at the time that that's what I wanted, but that scene made me realize, no, I wanted more of the people conflict between the two of these people. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, totally agree with you. I have to tell you, that particular scene, I mean, not only did I get goosebumps, and I was glued to that whole scene, that whole fight scene, but I mean, it was really emotional. You felt the emotion behind that enough to where, some of the people I've talked to, some of my friends I've talked to said that they actually cried on that. So, I mean, that says a lot. So, yeah, I totally agree with you, Steve, on that. That is what I was looking forward to this whole series. We got a little bit in it on, what was it, the second episode? or
Yeah.
the second part, with both of them fighting. But other than that, it was kind of, what's going on? What's the next thing?
So I have a problem, and Jay, you and I discussed this on the phone, I think 2 weeks ago, and it resonates more now than it ever did before, is when this ends, in theory, is where A New Hope and the rest of the Skywalker saga and the rest of all of the other shows fall in place, correct?
Yes.
So that's kind of where we're at with all of this. How come we've never heard of Inquisitors before? How come the Grand Inquisitor, who is so tight with Vader, literally was invented for these prequel sort of things, and then they just are gone? We never hear the term again. We never see them. I was expecting them to take out the Inquisitors so that they were all gone, because we never ever hear from them again, just in the canon books, but not in the movies at all. So I don't like that at the end, the Grand Inquisitor was part of this big elaborate scheme, and he's sitting on the bridge of his ship, and he's just totally fine, but we never hear him again. In theory, that right there is the end of the Inquisitor, and I don't like that.
No, I totally agree with you on that as well. I mean, we talked about it, and it's on the same page. Almost like another spin-off series is going to happen at some point, because you almost need to explain that story. If you're going to actually start that story, you need to end it somewhere. So I'm sure that's something along the lines, coming down the line.
Inquisitors have their own books and stuff, and I think the Force Awakens game has the Inquisitors in that phase after this, right? Am I wrong?
No, it's only in the canon in the books. It's not in any of the films at all. They don't even.
Okay, so you're talking about film only. Okay, got you.
Film? No, yeah. I'm sorry. That's why I was trying to say is I'm a surface level Star Wars guy. I have not. I know Jay has. I've watched everything they've made. Just on this, like on screen, they never even mention them. It's like they made.
Okay, so but then at that point, you can say, why have they not mentioned, Baby Yoda, or why have they not mentioned? In the sequel trilogy, why have they not mentioned? Like, you can add things in all the time. Why have they not mentioned this?
True. Yeah, you're totally right. I think that there's opposite sides to both, but I mean, the way that this literally ended with them on the bridge of the ship, like they're going to be there, but they're just never come back to Everett. It's too big on the cinema world not to have them. What's her name? Literally was a youngling and had the Force, but I don't remember them ever talking about him ever again.
Did she though? Did she have the Force because she couldn't pick up that Rue and Owen were going to shoot her when they were hiding? Like, come on.
You see,
that was so dumb.
That was so definitely dumb. And she did do some really good parkour in like episode 2.
I mean, as a character, I like her as a character. We all, was anybody not fooled that she wasn't that young kid in the beginning? I mean, I think we all knew.
I think we all knew.
But I mean, as a character, I really liked her. But like, when did Vader decide to leave these people, like, just let them live? Like, he kills like 1,000 people, but lets her live. This prime Vader, or whatever you call him, wouldn't do that.
To me, it doesn't track. It just doesn't make sense. So if you're what would be the motive of letting her, quote unquote, infiltrate your group and then make this big elaborate surprise? Like, you think I didn't know that it was you, youngling, blah, blah, blah. Like, that makes no sense at all. It doesn't make any sense. I would like one person to tell me what that end game was for Vader, because it did nothing. It meant nothing. Maybe
it's one of those things, keep your enemies close and your friend close, that keep your friend close and your enemies closer type thing.
Yeah, if that's the case, then that's exactly how it went down. I
don't mind that. Like, I kind of dug that, but like he wasn't fooled because he's like Prime Vader. He's like in his prime. He knows this shit, so he's using these people for his own, his own ways and like what he wants to do. So that I like that. It's just the way they used her. And you're right. These characters are like the Knights of Ren. The sequel is like, ooh, Knights of Ren coming, really? Because they were into the movie for like 5 seconds. So that's how I kind of feel like this is.
By the way, Sarah just rewatched the Rise of Skywalker last week, so I started watching it.
Why?
But this is my point. Because Lila and her started talking about it. They were like, you know what? I think they've only seen that one time. And I'm like, that is shocking. But they started watching it. How poorly did they use the Knights of Ren? Like, when they're walking, even that one random guy goes, oh my God, it's the Knights of Ren. So like, we're supposed to be we're supposed to be like intimidated, but then we never see them again. It's like, okay, so they got their asses kicked, and that's the end of it. Like, it was so dumb. But anyway, go ahead, Jay.
Through that whole series, those last 3 episodes, you went into thinking one Captain Phasma was going to be so badass, and then you had the same thing with the Knights of Ren, and they just kind of fizzled away through the whole series. So yeah.
So I want to get to one thing real quickly, that there's memes about it and all of this other stuff, but you have to appreciate how dumb it is. How is it that she got lightsabered through the stomach and not only survived, an hour later she's on a ship like running around fighting people, yet Qui-Gon gets the exact same thing and is dead? I don't like it. I think that it was so dumb.
It's the Force. It's the Force healing. Don't you know that? It's been introduced 1,000 times now.
I can't believe you just said that. No, I don't. I refuse to accept that as an answer. I can't handle it.
It's what I call the Wolverine factor now for Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, Rey does heal that snake thing. And
it's Goku heals things.
Yeah, he does.
He did.
But then why didn't Qui-Gon? Because he can't heal? It was too dramatic.
Because he's a rebel, man. He doesn't know it all yet, man.
Oh, okay. So that's a horrible answer.
I don't know. If the Force works in so weird ways, like the Force works when it wants to work and doesn't when it doesn't. There's no clear ramifications of what the Force can do. Like in the second episode where like Obi-Wan's burning in the fire, he can't control the fire. Like, I don't understand. It's the Force. It's like what you used to hate about the Mission Impossible movies, Steve. It's the math effect.
You're not wrong. I hate that you just brought that up. You're right. Okay, so the one thing is they did explain that he purposely had not been using the Force for so long because he didn't want to attract any attention at all.
No, I get that, but like I don't know. The Force is such a weird MacGuffin for me. Like that fight with Rev, what's her name? Rev, right? And Darth Vader. The last episode where he was just like using the Force to deflect everything, that was awesome. Like that is the stuff I wanted to see. Him like toying with her, like just kill her because you don't need that scene on Tatooine. And apparently, if anybody needs a lightsaber, just go to Tatooine and they're all buried all over the place.
There. Yeah,
that's my favorite running joke from this show is someone had a picture of just a whole bunch of lightsabers right under the surface, and it's like, if you need your lightsaber, just bring a shovel over by Luke's house and you'll find something good. So one of the things with the show is they relied heavily on side characters that come in and come out. So you mentioned Reva. A bunch of people were being racist douchebags about her, like they were to what's her name?
Rose. Seriously.
So
Rose from
this is okay. So first of all, I can't agree more, but I will say I liked her character and I love the idea of a youngling that's still around that has the Force that
me too.
Had I don't mind that at all. But in the first 2 episodes, Jay talked about this. Sarah agrees after rewatching it. I don't think that she was a very good actor until the very end. It's almost like a lot of times she was watching their mouths, waiting for her turn to speak. And sometimes it even looked like she was about ready to mouth the other person's words, like waiting for her time to deliver her line. And that's not a mean thing because at the end of the show, it's the exact opposite. When she's at the very end, she not only looks convincing, she had me on the edge of my seat. And I really enjoyed her character and her quote unquote, her return. I thought that was really fantastic. So the character was good. And the lady who plays her, she did end up being good. Her name is Moses Ingram. Yep. But I will say that first couple of episodes was rough. And I was like, okay, man, we better get out of this spin that we're in. Because right now I'm not liking this at all. I thought the first couple of episodes were not good. And it had nothing to do with her. It was just simply, I don't know what's happening here. This character doesn't look like she's got it in her heart to do the role right. What is going on here? So that was just my stupid opinion.
Here's a question to that then, because I didn't pick up on that. I haven't really watched them either. So maybe I'll go back and rewatch if I really want to. But is it the acting or is it the stuff she was given? Is she was just born with the whole like, why are you torturing Leah? That's dumb. I don't know. It was, and why is young Leia, like, already so powerful with the Force that she can block somebody who's been using the Force for, 20 plus years. It's that kind of stuff. If I read that script, I'd be like, okay. But why can Leia run through the forest and no one catch her? Come on.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. And I like I said, I don't necessarily think it's always the bad acting because she did pull it together at the end in a really good way. But it could be the material that was given to her and how Deborah Chow wanted to sort of approach it. And this script I thought did have a lot of holes, lots and lots of holes, and a lot of things crowbarred in that didn't need to be. So you could be right, and I'm not hating on her at all. I just am saying at the beginning, I was hearing all the people hate her, and before I heard that they were being racist idiots, I was like, well, I could kind of see that because I really wasn't into her character in the first two episodes.
You know what it felt like too? It felt like Phantom Menace between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, where Phantom Menace was all set up basically, and like Attack of the Clones is when they actually started acting to me.
It could be, yeah, absolutely. To me, it just seemed like there was, I don't know, she didn't grab me from the beginning. So when the hate started, before I read that it was racist idiots, it was, okay, well, I kind of see their point. She was kind of bad, So at first I kind of understood the hate, and then I was like, oh, come on, you're back to this stupid crap again. Grow up, But
I almost feel like
first it did.
I almost feel like like when she interviewed for that for that character, like she almost that was the scene that she had to do because that's what got her job. Because I agree, I see she nailed that last episode, but up until then, I was kind of bored with her character. Very, very dry, at least for me.
Yeah, I was too. Honestly, I was until that turn when she was like, "I'm after him," but that's because we all knew the setup. Like we knew. That's why this should have been a movie. We knew the setup. We didn't need those 3 episodes in the beginning. Like, just go, man. Just do it.
Yeah, just embrace it and go. Stop teasing us. We get it. And, I didn't necessarily pick up on it, but Sarah picked up on it immediately. She goes, oh, she's going to be the youngling. And I was like, oh, my God, there was a little girl in that group that they kind of focused on for a second. So Sarah then for the next 3 episodes was just like what you were saying. Like, come on, just do it.
Yeah.
So I can see that frustration because it's so surface level. So being that we don't really know the future of all of this, I do think that if they did a sequel series to it or maybe a sequel movie, you could answer a lot of these questions because, like I said, you can kill off the Inquisitors. The Grand Inquisitor could get into a fight with her, and they could end it. All of that stuff could come around. But Steve, you said something really interesting that I haven't read a lot of people talk about, but it does annoy me now, that, especially because you said it like this. Is Leia didn't use the Force to like lift stuff or do anything like that, but she definitely knew she could kind of hear people's thoughts or have the ability to kind of control that, the mental side of the Force. Does that just mean that she was a powerful Jedi with the Force the whole entire time?
Yeah, absolutely.
But why didn't she ever, did Luke ever feel like that as a kid? Did any of these other Jedi feel like Rey? Did Rey ever just use it and feel it? No, it took her.
I think Rey did mention there was a line around the movies where she's like, I always felt this way or something like that. I think there's a line in the sequels. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a line in sequels where she kind of knew that she was always had this type of weird energy.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying then is Leia just picked up on it earlier and started manipulating the Force slightly more than I guess Rey did, or maybe
without knowing it. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Jay, what do you think?
Actually, I'm not quite sure where to go with that because when she was younger, I don't think I didn't pick up that she really was using the Force in this series. I get at the very end in the episodes, but I didn't get that in this series.
Yeah, see, I didn't actually. You could see that she had it, but also I think that's just because we knew that she was Luke's sister and the son of Vader or the daughter of Vader. So maybe that's why I always assumed she had. But anyway, so I will say, out of all of the side characters that they brought up and everything, I did enjoy some of the side people like what's his name as the Grand Inquisitor, I thought looked pretty good. But I really liked Haja, which is Kumail Nej. I don't know how to say his name. The guy that's in literally everything now. But I thought that his role of being a fake Jedi and then he turned and stayed good and then fought with the Resistance, I actually like that. I know it's a little bit cheesy that he was like, no, I'm going to stay and fight kind of thing. I keep on reading that people hated that. I actually like that. So call me cheesy or whatever, but I really enjoyed his side character.
No, I agree. I wasn't a huge fan of it to start off with, but he definitely grew on me, especially as it was going on. So as the different parts were going through. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't love him. I didn't hate him. I thought he was a good character.
Yeah. So I there's some other ones too. What's her name? Tala? Is that how you say it? Tala? Indira Varma. The one who she dies in that explosion with the thermal detonator. I actually really liked her role. Again, I thought that she was really cool as kind of an Imperial officer with clearance, and she kind of manipulated that and was really a good guy. I thought that was really good. But one of the things that we really had an issue with was, what were those people in that tomb? He called it a tomb, and they were stuck in that orange crusted, like, I don't know, was it carbonite? I don't know what was going on there, but I thought that was too big of a thing to bring in and then go nowhere with it.
Steve, it's the setup for the new Jurassic Park movie.
Oh my gosh.
You had that just teed up. That's Amber. They're stuck in there with
yeah, exactly. It's like mosquitoes.
They're in there with mosquitoes. And Mr. DNA is gonna bring back all the
Jedi. Yeah.
Oh my. So if we're gonna go on and on and on about this, what other broad strokes things did you like or not like in the series? And if they do come back, do you want them to do it as a movie? Do you want them to do it as a second season with 6 episodes? And more importantly, do we want Deborah Chow with the helm like she was at this one? Jay.
Steve?
Me? You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We all said each other's names.
Let's start with who I want a second one. I only want a second one if it's like a odd couple type thing with him and Qui-Gon. Like, Owen's messy, Qui-Gon trying to teach him not to be messy. That type of like 70s comedy is what I want.
Okay, so we know that that's never going to happen.
Exactly. So I don't need another one. Because where do you go from here?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know where you go from there. The setup was great with him talking with Luke at the very end. It was a pretty good ending. I don't know where you go from here.
Do I want to see more Obi-Wan? Yes. Like if he and Cal that Cal Preston movie show happens. Would I love to see him like go into that show? Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So we all love Ewan McGregor. We're all like borderline Ewan McGregor apologists, I think, to almost a fault. If this McGregor, I think all of us would have said that this show sucked out loud. I genuinely think so. But I think he's such a good Obi-Wan that it's hard to dislike him. I really do.
Yeah.
Jay, you right? Jay, I know you're on the same page because you love the man. So it's it's tough to go around.
He's definitely my man crush. I have to tell you.
Yeah, he's awesome, and he's Sarah's just regular crush. God, she loves Ewan McGregor. So I don't really want it to come back. I don't want it to come back for a second season, even if they did it for just a show, like a movie, unless there was. I don't know. I want to say more Qui-Gon because we only got to see him in Force Ghost for 30 seconds, 20 seconds. Yeah. And I love Qui-Gon. I love the two of them together. I thought they were fantastic. But even if we got more Liam Neeson, I still don't think I want anymore. I think I'm good.
I think he's best used now as like a special guest or something.
Yeah, I could see that.
He could pop up with Ahsoka as a Force Ghost to her. That would be perfect.
Hey, Jay, do we know, did Qui-Gon have any relationship with any other famous Jedi that we know? Did he work with, Mace Windu? Do you know his background, like anything about him? Because I don't.
I know that he was he was the Padawan for Count Dooku.
Okay. I forgot about that. I straight up forgot that was even a thing.
Yeah.
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 See, I would love more of Qui-Gon. A very interesting Jedi. I really, really enjoy him. Still on rewatches, he's arguably one of the best parts. As much crap as people talk about the Phantom Menace, you did get some really good characters. You got a really good Obi-Wan Kenobi. You got
but all got killed off.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, they did a good job of bringing in some people and then it goes nowhere. You're right. That first one was just a template for the future. And I hope that they don't go down that path with this. I don't think I need any more. And if they do another one, it's just going to be like a series, kind of like The Mandalorian, where he goes off another little side mission on the side while he's living in the mountains or the desert of Tatooine. It's going to be, and it can't have anything to do with Leia or Luke this time because he can't have that much interaction with them. It would have to be a totally separate thing. Maybe a chasing thing.
He can have interaction with Luke because now he's introduced to Luke, so he can.
Yeah, but it seemed to me that in A New Hope, Luke is like, you mean old Ben Kenobi? Like, yeah, there's an old guy. Very much like he only met him once or twice, or else he would be like, oh yeah, Ben, he lives down the street. You know,
like a few times, like he knew enough of him to know who they were talking about.
I don't know.
So maybe enough for seasons worth, but I don't want it. Like you said, I don't want it.
Yeah, I guess you could always write it around that, but I don't want it. I don't want it, and if it does happen, I don't want it to have anything to do with Luke. I just don't want it to. I think that they should just leave it as is.
Yeah.
Jay, what do you think,
Jay?
I was going to say, I agree with both of you. I'm actually very happy with this, just having this one and done type thing. I was nervous as heck to even see this, but I was excited at the same point or at the same time. It just kind of worked out for me. But this, what I got out of this is this story is very unnecessary. This is very much for the fans. You didn't need to see any of this because you already knew how, like Steve-O was talking about earlier, you know how everything pans out because you've seen New Hope. So I hope that they don't do a second series. I do think or a second season, what I do think it's going to happen is I almost positive that this is setting it up for Andor. So I think this is where Andor is going to be jumping right in. And maybe this is where they go ahead and put in the explanation for, those Jedi and those in that goo or whatever that was. Maybe that is part of the cloning thing. So there's something that's there's going to be a backstory there, but I almost, like I said, I think it's almost setting it up for Andor at this point. But the real quick, the last thing I wanted to say was Ewan McGregor, just how awesome of an actor. He gave me more love for A New Hope than I thought I actually had. I enjoyed seeing him just in that last scene, him fighting Vader. I enjoyed seeing that part of it, and it almost gave me a new appreciation for A New Hope for Obi-Wan, because at that point you had Obi-Wan. He's like, okay, now here I am. I'm fighting Vader for a third time. What am I going to go ahead and do? Am I going to go ahead and beat him again? So what does he do? He sacrifices himself. So I think that was just brilliantly done. And if they do a second season for this, I'm afraid you're going to ruin that.
So Jay said something to me a little while ago. Steve, tell me if you agree, because I love this thought process, was that Kathleen Kennedy and the people over at Lucasfilm, Disney, Star Wars, they're treating all these characters kind of nonchalant, like they can do whatever. The one that they're really treating with respect and reverence is Vader. So far, every bit of Vader that we've seen in the newer world of Disney Plus and Kathleen Kennedy's, I think that they have spot on. Vader was fantastic in this, between the flashbacks with Hayden Christensen, between his fights. And I didn't get a chance to say it earlier because the mic cut out. But Steve, you said it perfectly. Watching Vader do a lightsaber battle without using a lightsaber, where he was just stopping it with his hands and the Force, that's the stuff I wanted to see. I want to see him absolutely, just like at the end of Rogue One. Vader, and I love how you called him this. Are they calling him Prime Vader? Because I love that.
That's what I've heard on the interwebs.
Yeah, I like that. Prime Vader. You're seeing him in his prime, using the Force like a genuine badass, and that I think that they're doing absolutely correct. I love that. That's the one character. They're not screwing that up. And I think that they're doing it very well.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, why do they not de-age poor Hayden Christensen in that flashback? Anyway, that still gets my goat. So what I was going to say is two questions. Let's say those orange things are like they're just holding old Jedi to like just torture them or whatever? What if one of them is Samuel L. Jackson's,
Yeah, Mace
character?
Windu.
Yeah,
Mace
Mace.
Windu.
Thank you.
I'm
And
not
that's
gonna
how he
li-
comes. And that's how he comes back. Is that going to piss you off?
No, I'll tell you why it wouldn't piss me off is because I loved Mace Windu's character. I absolutely loved it. And seeing him back again would be freaking brilliant. But, Jay, what do you think?
I would love to see him on something. But if they do I survived, this, type story, it's going to start losing me. Everybody's coming back at this, at this point, and back to our, original joke about Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon's still dead, but at some point, people have to die. Why show the story then?
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
So my last question is this the worst written series of all of the Star Wars series so far?
Jay?
I would say no.
What would take the top spot then?
I would probably say Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's where Steve is going because when I mentioned Book of Boba Fett earlier, he kind of threw up in this mic. So I think that I know that that's where he's at. I think that the writing is not fantastic, but I think I give it a free pass because out of all of the different stories that they've written, the only one where the main character's outcome is this one. And it's really hard to write a story where that Obi-Wan is fine, Luke is fine, Leia is fine, Vader is fine, where all of those things are happening and it's okay. That is a hard story to tell and make it convincing. But I do think Book of Boba Fett was worse. And I'll be honest, I actually think that The Rise of Skywalker may be worse too. I really did. Just watching it again the other day, movie. I just think it's so bad. And let me remind you that all of a sudden Finn is trying to. He has. I mean, if we're talking bad writing, I think that one to me takes the top. I really think that The Rise of Skywalker is maybe one of the worst things that Star Wars has produced. Now, the guys on this show disagree, and they all thought it was a really good send-off for those characters. I just disagree.
First of all, Last Jedi is a genius movie. Secondly,
yep.
I'm going to throw up in my mouth. Oh my gosh.
Steve-O and I have always agreed on that, and I love that conversation because Jay just could not disagree further. I love it. Yeah.
But I think Obi-Wan is the worst written movie. I think the problem with Boba Fett was it was just boring. It was just a whole bunch of nothing. And I think the expectations for this one were just too high that you couldn't have these terrible gaps of writing and like situations that you put these people in when they easily could have got out of. Like
yeah. I don't disagree there at all. Some of these situations were so easy for a Jedi to get out of. And I know you're writing into it that he's trying to get his force back. How Stella got her groove back kind of thing. But I'll say I don't really disagree. I think that what you said is exactly what Anthony Helmer said. He's an artist friend of mine. He said almost that exact same thing. These titular side characters that really, really push the limit every episode. And then Obi-Wan gets saved by other small characters, and it doesn't have to be. What I did like about Boba Fett was I did enjoy some of the side characters that they brought in. Timothy Oliphant was in it and in a really cool role, and they let him go do his thing. And then also the show I thought was dragging until straight up it just turned into The Mandalorian, which is brilliant. So when it transferred, when the show literally just pulled the rug out of the show and said, hey, guess what? We're joking. This is actually The Mandalorian season 2.5. Then I was on board because I really liked seeing Ahsoka and Luke and Grogu and The Mandalorian again working sort of their story out. But I do think that this is definitely one of the worst. But I also, again, I think it's hard to make this one work, being that we know where the story ends. So I call it a handicap a little bit because it's a really tough story to tell. But yeah, you're not wrong. Making this a 6-episode thing did lead to some really bad writing. You could have made this a movie with it all coming up to that end spot, and then I think the writing would have been better because you could have shaved off 3 hours of the nonsense that we had to sit through sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you keep on bringing up because we know how the outcome ends, right? So not to compare apples and oranges at all, but I'm going to. So CBS on Paramount Plus, they just throwing every Star Trek thing out there they have now. So there's a new series starring Captain Pike, which is before Kirk, and we all know how he dies, and they dealt with that already. Like they dealt with it within a couple of episodes, and he knows how he's going to die. He knows what's going to happen to him, but they deal with such a great way and such tact that it's like part of the story. And a lot of this is just, I feel like there's no overall, I feel like it's the DC universe. There's no overall kind of connection between all the shows. Like Mandalorian definitely has connection with Boba Fett. I think this was that weird thing where it was going to be a movie like years ago. Steve and I talked about it on a show that might come back. And they turned it into a series because they had Disney Plus and they need content. I think if they kept it as a movie, I wouldn't have such a problem with it.
Yep, I agree with that completely. I think that most of the issues that I have with it go in its editing, its storytelling style, and how long it took to get to the ending that we knew it was going to get there. And that's a good point, Steve. You knowing their fate does make it. I agree. I just agree with that. But like I said, I just know that it's a more of an uphill battle. It's harder to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tougher writing assignment. It's a tougher writing.
Yeah. So let's just end this bit before we do a big announcement, which I'm pretty pumped about. But let's just go through the group. If we're going to give it a 1 out of 5 stars.
Oh,
Steve, where are you at?
Oh, it was added 2 before the last episode. So the question is, does that raise it a full star or half a star? Because there's no way it raises more than a star. I think based on that last lightsaber fight with Vader and Ewan and the way it ended with kind of wrapping the... Oh. I'll give it 3 stars.
Ooh. Okay. Jay?
It's close though. 2.75. I do 2.75.
2.75. Jay?
I would say, really, I'm basing this all. It sounds like it may be going this way, as we're going to be basing this off the last episode. But I would say, up until the last episode, I was giving it about a 2. That last episode, if I was just grading that last episode by itself, I would give it a 4.
Oh, wow. So your last episode brought you up 2 whole stars. I'm going to go right down Main Street, and I'm a solid 3. I just, that last episode did raise it a whole star level. If it wasn't that good at the ending, it would have been a 2, and probably I would never recommend someone watch it, but we're all on the same page. Right down the middle.
I think we're all pretty close.
Yeah. All right, so we're all pretty much on the same page. It's right downtown. Let's just do one last question for you. Would you recommend this to somebody? If someone that hasn't watched it but is a fan, they were thinking about it, what are you going to tell them?
I would say for entertainment, yes. If they need to go ahead and watch it to understand the series, no.
Oh. Watch episodes 1, 2, and 6.
Yeah, okay, I could see that. That actually kind of does make sense. It's definitely worth it to watch every scene that those two share together, Vader and Obi-Wan. I kind of agree with that. Yeah,
quick, I'm sorry, Steve. Quick, how bummed, or do you guys even think about it? I was paying attention so close because I really wanted to see a cameo of at least like R2 or someone in the background. I thought that would have been perfect, but I was kind of bummed about that.
Yep, we didn't get any. The only one that we got was Qui-Gon at the very, very end. That's it, right? Am I forgetting something else? Yeah. No, that was it. That's the only one I saw. Yeah.
You know what would be cool is that Death Stick guy, the diner guy, was his informant on that planet, on that, his diner friend from 2.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that would have been really cool. See, there's a lot of those things that you wish that they could do differently. I don't know where this is going to leave Deborah Chow in the future either, because I don't really know what everyone's opinions are. I know your guys' thoughts, and then I know what I read on Reddit, which is significantly worse than what we're saying. I mean, the people on Reddit, they don't have a filter.
But she's a good director. Overall, she's a great director.
This is my point. They have some really good directors, but it's the material that they gave her.
Yeah, it's the writers. How can you...
That's what I'm saying is I hope this doesn't reflect on her because I thought it was shot beautifully.
Can you pull this up? Do you know who wrote most of these episodes?
Yeah, I have it up right now. The writers of this is Joby Harold, who wrote 7 episodes of it. Hussein Amini wrote the teleplay, 5 episodes of it. Stuart Beatty, Hannah Friedman, and then here's the one that blew my mind, Steve. Did you notice who wrote the last?
No.
Andrew Stanton. Andrew Stanton, who wrote.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he wrote.
He did the last 3, though, right?
Yeah, he did Wall-E, Nemo, Up, Toy Story 2. These movies have 100% Rotten Tomatoes score, by the way. Like,
well, no wonder why the last episode was so good then.
Yeah, that was written by. When it ended on the screen, I'm like, did that just say Andrew Stanton? And yeah, he did.
Oh,
he
did.
wrote
That's
that.
right.
Yeah, so Andrew Stanton wrote all of these things, and he also does the voices and throwbacks to a lot of Disney Infinity characters. But I mean, Andrew Stanton literally has written some of the best fictional material that I've ever seen, and he wrote the last couple episodes. So you're not wrong.
Did Filoni and Favre have any input in this at all?
Zero on this show. Zero, and this is the thing that everyone says is you can tell. First of all, I'll just say shows that Filoni writes are very heavy on individual episode adventures, right, Jay? They go back from Rebels and Clone Wars. Every episode, they start off, they have a mission, they go do their mission with trouble, and then it ends up where everybody's, well, not always, but with their fine. And then the next episode is another new mission. This had a totally different style. That's like The Mandalorian. Feels just like that. New characters and new little battles each week, and they have to get over it. This, though, was 6 episodes that could have been together in one. I think so. So the writing is not great, and it has nothing to do with Deborah Chow.
There is a great show in here somewhere if you edit it all down.
Yep, I completely agree. If you know what, I'm just going to end that with that because I really think that that's a good point. In this 7 hours or 6 hours of what we watched, there is good quality content in there. It's in there, but it would take like a fan edit to put them all together and then make it a 2-hour one. That I would love to watch a 2-hour edit by somebody that could do a good job.
Yeah.
So, and I personally would recommend this to people simply because I'm kind of a Star Wars completionist, but also seeing Vader in that aspect, like you said, watch episodes 1, 2, and 6. I thought he was so great, but the rest of it really didn't mean much. It really didn't to me. So that's kind of where it was. So that's where we'll end the show. Give us your thoughts. Let everybody know on the Nightcap Chat channel.
Wait, hold on, Steve. I just thought of something. Do Force people not realize there are always 2 ships? Because Vader missed it and Rey missed it. Oh,
wait, you mean a ship inside
when they're leaving? Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's hysterical. That one of the people on I can't remember what one I read was trashing that.
Vader destroyed the one ship and let the other ship go away because apparently the Force can't do more than one ship. And then the Star Wars movie, Rey destroys it by accident with her lightning fingers, but doesn't see the other ship with Chewie is on.
Yeah, that is so funny. And by the way, that's such a good, when you watch the recap episode, like when you watch the finale, it's like previously on this, they show the scene where Vader uses the Force to bring down that escape ship, and he's bringing it down, and then it slams and he rips it apart, and then the other one just goes, whoop! And I kept on saying, I love seeing Vader use his power that strongly, but are you kidding me? He didn't see another mirrored full-size ship with a crew on the ground. He was so hyper-focused on bringing that one down. That was a really weird.
Oh, you know why, Steve? I just read this. You know why he didn't see the other one?
Why?
Full of sand. He hates sand. He can't see it.
Oh, my God. See? There's too many holes. Idiot. All right. Well, let us know your thoughts. What did you think? Would you recommend this to somebody? I know that the guys probably will not be watching this. Ken probably will, but I don't know if we'll hear much about it. They don't really care, but let us know. Let us know what you think. But before we go and leave you, we have another big announcement, which I'm really pumped about. Our fearless leader, Blade O'Neill, CEO and master of the universe, which is Nightcap Chat, is putting new shows on this channel. It started with Ink and Paint, and now he is adding 2 more shows. One of them is still in the working, but he reached into the all-star bag and brought Steve-O out of retirement. I guess you could call it retirement. It was what? You were out for 3 months, Steve? You didn't have a show since January, so you needed to come back.
Actually, it's been almost 2 years, right?
That is true. Yeah. I don't know what you were doing in that time period beforehand. It's kind of like the show. There was a big gray area. But Steve,
I was not doing much.
You were not doing much, no joke. Steve-O is back, and he is going to be the host of a new show on this network that will be every other week show per request on Blade. And that show is called The Newsroom. Steve, welcome to the Nightcap Chat family, and tell the viewers or the listeners what is happening. What is The Newsroom?
We need to have some sound bites, guys.
It's an old show that Steve and I used to do way back when. We just go over. We usually start with a movie review or something, and then we'll go over the news. I'm sure we'll talk about Ezra Miller, and we'll talk about all the things going on in entertainment. And then sometimes that trails off their list and brackets and all kinds of shenanigans. Steve and I go, and I know how to push these buttons really well, so I can get him going. And it's pretty fun to see him start yelling. And I usually agree with him, and I just like to play devil's advocate, get him mad. So
I'm not gonna lie, Steve. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot how good you are at screwing with my head and totally baiting me to say something or get on a tangent. I kind of forgot that you do that so well. So coming up this next month, welcome to the channel. Steve-O brings The Newsroom back, and it covers all entertainment news between the last episode and this one with a bunch of other fun stuff on the side. Jay will be guesting times. He will bring in any other co-hosts and surprises, but we welcome you and thank you for joining the channel, and make sure you subscribe, tell your friends, and you can reach out to Steve-O. Just do it through the same aspect that we do now. You can reach out to us on our Ink and Paint on Instagram or any of the Nightcap Chat platforms. But anyway, Steve, welcome to the channel, and I love where this channel is going. Nightcap Chat is just going to be one of those places where you can tune in for anything. If you want to hear lists and bizarro stuff, if you want to talk video games, if you want to hear what's going on in Disney, in the park, this is the one-stop shop for everything. So make sure you subscribe and join. But Jay, thanks for joining us. And what do we got? Anything else?
No. We do, real quick.
What do we got?
We're gonna hit the opening weekend for Buzz.
Oh yeah, Steve. Real quick, do you consider this a failure? Did you see Buzz?
I didn't see the numbers. I know it was a solid performing, but not as big.
54.
I know it's like
it made 54, and it was projected to make between 80 and 100.
So okay, so we're gonna hit this real quick. Let's say Disney has conditioned everybody now to stay at home and wait for it to be on Disney Plus.
Yep.
That's my thinking, because I was going to go see Bob's Burgers in the theaters, but it's going to be on Disney Plus and HBO Max. So, like, next week, pretty much. So, like, this is the world they created. This is the world Warner Brothers created. So, unless you really want to see it in a theater, and I heard, like, the IMAX and, like, you should see it like on the big screen. I've heard that from all the reviews, and the reviews are great. I think a lot of it also is people not understanding what the movie is, and they're getting mad that Tim Allen isn't like part of Disney anymore when he's doing a Santa Claus series for Disney Plus. But this isn't a Toy Story movie. This is a Buzz Lightyear movie.
I keep on reading that is people's number one or number two complaint. I'm not even going to touch number one complaint because I think it's stupid. But you're right. I kept on reading people upset about that. And, everyone's saying, oh, it's because he's this and this and Disney canceled him. It's like, no, he's still on another show. He's doing another Santa Claus sequel.
He's doing another show. And he's on Hulu with another show about Real Home Improvement, which is owned by Disney. So shut the hell up.
Yeah, he's just fine. They don't dislike him. He just wasn't in this. And by the way, I saw that was the number one complaint that people had. And for a second, I was like, wow, that's interesting that people had that thought. But they were passionate about it. If Tim Allen's not in it, I'm not watching it. Jay and I had kind of the same opinion. Exactly. Jay and I have the same opinion on this. I didn't want to see it because I thought it was a stupid idea. And I thought that the trailer was dumb. I just had no interest from day one at all. Just none. I just thought it was stupid to keep going back to this. Most went and saw it because I'm such a fan of Taika Waititi, and his role in the trailer looks so funny that I wanted to go see it for that. But you nailed it, Steve. I won't see it because I've heard that it's not good, that it's really dull. It can't pick a storyline. Is it kids' movie? Is it not? Whatever. But more importantly, you said it, I'm just going to wait the 3 weeks until it's on Disney Plus or the month and a half. I don't care to go see it in the first place, but when it's on Disney Plus, I will watch it. Just this week, they dropped what's it called? Doctor Strange 2.
Doctor Strange, yeah.
So that's on there now, and that only came out, a month and a half ago? I will absolutely have no problem waiting for this to hit Disney Plus.
I think one of the first things we have to talk about in the newsroom, Steve, is the state of the theater.
You know what? That's a really, really good point. It is, and I think that, like you said, Disney created this, and so did Warner Brothers, and they're going to have to figure it out because they are still the two biggest studios out there. They just are. You can't. There's a bunch of other cool movies that are out right now that still take forever.
I know this isn't news, but Paramount right now is the king of movie theaters right now.
Agreed. Yep, absolutely. With Top Gun and the other things that they have lined up, you're totally right. And those movies, you have no idea when they're going to hit what service and when.
Right.
And this one, Disney has made this thing. So that's a good topic, Steve. And we should save that or go into it on another one. Will this change the theaters? And will the studio end up changing their tactics? Will they change their game plan to say, you know what? Too many people aren't rushing to see these movies in the theaters because we're putting them on Disney Plus in a month. Maybe we need to make that 3 months. That's how
you just had a tiny taste of what the newsroom was going to be, and that's going to be our first episode.
Yep, I like it. Jay, what about you? What did you think about it? Do you think it's a failure, or did you kind of expect this to happen?
I kind of expected it. It really wasn't getting much love from the get-go, and it's because of what we had talked about. There was no interest in continuation of the story, even showing a prequel or whatever you would call this, to the Buzz Lightyear story. So I think it was kind of expected.
If you do want to go see it, like I said, I haven't, but my mom did a review on it, and I thought her review was really good. She's on Instagram at Cinema Sandy. Go look her up. But also just so everyone knows, there are 3 post-credit scenes. 3 in Lightyear. So if you are going to see it, stay for all 3 because
I might see it this weekend. If I go see Steve and I like it, will you go to watch it in the theater?
I would need the recommendations of 3, and probably not for what I just said. I will wait until it hits Disney Plus.
All right,
yes. Yeah, this one situation, I just don't even care enough. I will just wait until July 15th when I can watch it at home.
Steve never watches anything I tell him to watch.
Unless I get told 3 times.
That's true.
Yep, I hate that you pointed that out, Steve. We have so many people that. Yeah, I did watch Encanto and I did not like it.
You didn't like it?
No, I didn't like it at all. At all. I hated the music. I hated everything that people.
Oh, you're nuts.
See, I knew you were going to say that though, but you just love everything that Lin-Manuel has done, Steve. So shut up. You're not a good source.
Well, that's true. And the Heights is pretty amazing, but.
I was told also not to watch that because it was really bad. So again, I didn't watch In the Heights because of that.
This is what happens when you don't talk for a while, Steve. You get bad advice.
I know. This is stupid. Well, anyway, welcome aboard, Steve, and the newsroom. That should air sometime in the next month. We will get on it and start recording it and get it out there where we cover all of the news hosted by Steve-O. So there we go. Jay, you got anything coming up? We'll just get ready for another Ink and Paint soon and start batching up our stuff. But I think between now and then, we will have a review coming up of Thor, Love, and Thunder. That comes out July 8th. July 8th in theaters only. They just released a new trailer for it that had me absolutely peeing my pants where they made a focus on the goats. Holy hell, that is funny. I just cannot wait to go see it. So we have that coming up to talk about. Steve, you have your tickets for that already or what?
Yeah, we're going to go see an IMAX on Friday.
Yep, right on.
Nice.
Well, everybody, thanks again for listening. Subscribe. Look for more from us later. And I've been Steve.
And I'm Jay.
And that is also Steve.
Yeah, I'm good, Steve. No matter what you hear.
Steve. That's right. Cool. And I'm mediocre, Steve. But thanks again, everybody.
Hyperbole, Steve.
Hyperbole Steve lives on forever. He always will. Thank you again for listening, everybody. And remember, be greater.
Be yourself.